We have volume now.
Watch your ears, Internet.
Woo.
No, that's fair.
Pardon?
That's fair.
Does that make sense? Hello? Yes.
Test.
Thank you.
Test.
Our public thanks you.
Okay. Back to you.
So I make my motion to pay the bills minus the Barry Lee payment of $2,800 that we needed to have on this to end the fiscal year for 2025.
2026.
26. Thank you.
That's an amendment to your motion.
That's an amendment to my motion. Yes.
I'll second that.
We're just holding on to the check, right? It's still going to be included in these bills. Okay,
Yes.
just wanted to clarify.
So as soon as he's done, then we
Yeah.
can get it.
Yep.
So, I guess we're voting on the amendment to your
Correct.
motion?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Now, we can do your motion for the bills.
With that said, I make a motion, we pay the bills as posted.
We already had the motion.
I
I think she did an amendment. I think she did backwards.
Okay.
Did I do it backwards?
It's all right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. We know what the intent is. So do we have a second to pay the bills?
Second.
Is there any further discussion about the bills? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I'm not sure why we were in the red so much, but I do know we had just so the council knows, well, these two know, and I know, but we had a one-time expense for the heaters in the fire department, and that was $15,000. So,
Was it for that or the pool vacuum?
no, that was the
The 15.
heaters for the fire department,
That one?
and that was part of the overrun. So. And the rest of us probably was doing the pool,
Because we're up here.
so.
And
But-
wasn't that 15,000, I mean, not the dollar amount, but wasn't that heater situation, hasn't that been going on for quite a while?
They've been trying to get heaters for quite a while. yes.
Okay.
4 years.
Making sure we were talking about the same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the heaters in the fire gate, yeah.
Did they switch to gas?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
But with that being said, without having the exact numbers, I think the town's going to be in pretty good shape for fiscal year 25, 26. Because of the carryover, we estimate to be around $130,000, $140,000. So that's a pretty good carryover. So,
We overspent this year, but we're still going to have a good carryover. So
good
that's
carryover.
all that matters.
Okay. So in a public comment, we don't have anybody signed up. Would you rather wait to the end? I guess, okay.
Don't jump up at once.
Police Chief Andrews, welcome.
Mowing.
Oh, wow, that's right. Hey, change that on the agenda.
Sorry about that, Andrew.
Hey,
Slowly
we're the
getting
black
changed
sheep.
all over.
It's a little aggressive, sorry.
She's still mowing on my phone.
I don't know, traffic is picking up. Please watch for motorcycles, a lot coming through. Dogs. Same old stuff.
Same dogs.
How was your training?
Oh, well, I was at the range for 2 days, so that was fun.
It's my understanding that you passed with flying colors.
Yep. Yes.
Cool.
I have nothing to say. I did a bunch of shooting for 2 days, so,
Anger management.
yes. Other than that, no, nothing unusual is going on.
Does anybody on the council have questions?
Welcome back.
Chief Mullen?
We did
Oh, I do
listen.
have a question. Or maybe I should wait until you get down to fireworks on the new business. Never mind. I'll wait.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you, Andrea. Ms. Barnes?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I worked extensively on 245 Main Street and their request for property adjustment so that they can put in an egress window. So do you want me to save the rest for when we're down at new business?
Probably should.
Okay, then that's all I'll report for now.
Okay.
Oh, and I reviewed, Rich sent me the letter of engagement. Make sure I say the right letters and numbers. F-66.
F-66.
For the F-66, a firm out of Cheyenne helps us with that. So I reviewed that with Rich over the phone and approved it, so Rich was able to sign that on behalf of the town.
Perfect. Any other questions outside of what we're going to discuss later in these?
Have you heard anything on the chug water?
No, and if there were no objections, they were going to grant that extension July 12th. And so I haven't received any file documents objecting to that change, so I would anticipate that that would proceed. And so that just extends their start time, that window, to the third quarter of 2027. So they don't have to start in 2026. They don't actually have to start until the third quarter of 2027.
Besides all the litigation around all that and what's going on, is there any other?
They're having issues
Holdups?
with their permitting process.
Okay. Okay.
That was what the letter said.
Typical.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get back with you. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Logan Daly, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'll be filling in for Casey tonight also. So, maintenance items, the landfill building is done. We're gonna have to move some dirt in there because the foundation is up above, and so we're gonna have to haul some dirt into there and get that all set up before we can move any dumpsters or anything into there. But that is what we'll be working on. Otherwise, the structure itself is complete. And then we've been working on a new resident, Lingle. He's building a house over on West 6th Street. And so we're working on getting that all put together. He submitted a building permit and everything. And we went over the ordinances with him and went over all setbacks and everything. And so he'll be on the way with that. We had a leak at the park that we thought we had fixed last year and then found that there was a new leak. So we dug that out today, and there's a big hole in the park. We're gonna fill that in tomorrow. We've got the dirt settling right now underneath the pipe to try and hopefully get it to stay there. But that took us pretty much all day work on that. And then I talked to Sarah Ingram on the tree board. She said that she had bids for removal of the trees and treatment of the trees, because there's several of them that have started coming back. And so I think if we can use some injections and things, we can help get those trees back on the way. She said that she turned those bids over to the council and mayor, so I don't know if you guys have them somewhere. But I have.
I know they were in a packet 3 weeks ago, a month ago.
They were in a council packet?
They were in a council packet, which
Okay.
I didn't bring with me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
They were in a
All right.
packet.
That's fine. So I'll talk to her about that some more then and see, because what is our deadline for the economic development center? Oh, it's not till September?
End of September.
Okay, we're good then, but I would like us to get started on that here soon, so we'll make sure we get those all together and get that going.
Actually, it's the last day of August.
Is it August?
It's the last day. it's the last
Oh,
day
yeah,
of
that's
August,
right.
Last day of August.
Okay, so we'll get that progressing forward and moving forward. I have received several property complaints throughout town, so I've been addressing those. I've had cooperation from the people who live at those residences. I have one more property that I'm still working on, and I don't think we'll have to move forward anymore with that, but if it continues to be an issue, I'll let you guys know and we'll address it. And then the last thing, two things, sorry. So I talked to George earlier today, our hours for maintenance for the shop, we're gonna start opening at 6 and closing at 3, just due to the heat, because these last few days have been brutal. I will probably still work 7 to 4, so we'll have someone covering those times, but just so you guys are aware, there should be someone there between 6 and 4, so. We'll have that going, and then just before I came here, I was called by Mike Dillon over in Fort Laramie, and Fort Laramie and Guernsey are currently without power. They have not identified the cause yet. Obviously, we're not impacted at this point, but I'm waiting for, I can't remember his last name, but Jimmy from the Wyoming Municipal Power Agency. He's supposed to call me back. They were contacting Western Area Power Administration to see what was going on with that. So I don't know if that's WAMPA facilities that are impacted or not. So as soon as I know something more on that, and whether or not we're out of it or in the clear, I'll let you guys know. And that's everything I have for maintenance items. So if you guys have any questions on maintenance items.
I do, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
On one of my walks, I've noticed that there is still a lot of tree branches in the power lines. You had mentioned you were going to be working on that.
And we have been, yeah.
Okay, I haven't walked this week, so,
Well, we haven't done it since last week, so we'll be resuming that.
okay, perfect,
with
thank you.
everything else, so, yeah. Any other questions for maintenance?
I just wanted a bit of clarification about weed removal. Up to the sidewalk, the edge of the sidewalk, and into the ditch area is the responsibility of the homeowner, is that correct?
When you say the ditch area, you mean
Well, like
the curb going down?
yeah, the curb going down into
Okay.
the street, so into that portion is the responsibility of the homeowner?
So by ordinance, correct.
Okay,
However, we have been spraying the weeds just along the street.
right, and I did see that. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear, so everybody watching and hearing heard that.
Gotcha.
And also, what about alleys? Are the alleys attached to the home into the center, or is it the entire thing?
So by ordinance, yes, alleys are the responsibility of the homeowner. However, we can spray, we've discussed spraying the center of the alley, but outside of that, we're not going to spray just for the fact that there's a lot of people that have flower beds and things right next to the alley.
Right.
And so we're going to make sure that's very controlled when we do that. But we have no problem spraying the center of the alleys. But we also don't want to kill off flowers.
Thanks, sir.
So, you bet.
You know, another maintenance, I'd like to give these guys a heads up for the last 2 weeks, getting the park ready. For not only Sunday when we had the 67th Army Band here, but also last night. So they had the park in pretty good shape both times, so thank you.
It looked amazing.
Okay, fire department.
All right, fire department. So we had 9 fire calls last month and 8 ambulance calls. And then we did the hamburger feeds for the 2 concert events. And I can't remember, I was gonna ask Tabitha, I forgot, but we made a pretty good amount of money, so we did all right on that for donations. So we were quite pleased with that. And then as far as the county is concerned, stage 1 fire restrictions are still in place. And that is it, unless you have any questions.
Questions?
Is the town going to do something for Casey?
We're planning on it. I mean, we could give them a card.
I would at least do a card.
That's about all we can do,
Yeah,
so.
I think we need to give Casey a card.
I'll get him one.
Thank you.
What's,
For those who don't know, Casey's our fire chief. His mother passed away,
okay.
so he's currently gone, took the services. Okay. Thanks, Logan.
You bet.
Okay. Miss Brandy.
Hi guys. Thank you, Mayor, Council. Things have been going pretty smooth. Knock on wood, knock on wood. Our movie in the park tonight was a huge success. Clark Plumbing helped sponsor that. We had a huge turnout, so we're going to do another one on July 16th. And our sponsor for that is DNA Welding. And we'll be showing Top Gun, doing popcorn again and everything, so. That was the second one that everyone wanted to see. We put out a little vote for everyone to look at. the band in the park last night, our free swim was a hit. Thankfully, we missed the storms and didn't have to pull anybody out. So that was good. And we're still in the planning of doing the close swim at the end of the month. We have lessons ongoing still, and we've been pretty steadily busy. We had about 28 people on the floor. So that was, for a lot going on. When it comes to our Venmo that we had discussed, we can't get a Venmo for our business without a cell phone.
Yeah.
And Emily and I, neither of us want to have it on our cell phones. So at this time, we're not moving forward with that right now unless we are able to get, you have to have a cell phone number or like a tablet or something that has that because it doesn't hook up to a landline, even if it's a business phone. That's just how they run things because it's with a QR code, and for everything to be able to activate it is how the program is ran. So that's where we are on that. And other than that, the guards have been great. Any questions?
Any questions for Brandy?
Would a square still require,
Yes,
You have to have a fee, you have to have a phone.
it connects to a cell phone.
so whichever one we would consider at all would have to?
Yeah, this isn't necessarily the time, but the subject. Last year, or year before, I can't remember, when we budgeted for 2 smart TVs, we only bought 1, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't remember budgeting for 2.
I said,
I asked for 2, maybe we only budgeted for 1. Okay, well, that blew that idea out of the way. I was trying to think that maybe grab some money from that to do a POS. So it's just an iPad
Yeah,
with the,
that's what we have at the school, is that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it would even work for an older
And we have
iPad.
Wi-Fi at the pool, so that, so maybe in next year or something, we could get that going before the season starts. We
Yeah.
have had people come and not have cash or check.
I'm sure. I never have cash.
With a card, and they're like, unfortunately, no.
So that's something for us to see if maybe even there's some grants out there.
Anything else?
No.
Nope. Any questions? No? Give a big thank you to Emily and the Gardens for what they do,
I will.
and yourself.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Rich?
Yes. Just as Anna had mentioned before, the letter of engagement with MHP has been executed for the assistance with our F-66. And they have confirmed that they received what I sent them, so we are ready to go. So I imagine we'll begin sending them information here pretty soon. The liquor licenses have been distributed to the holders, so those are out there. I had a phone call. Old George with me. We had a phone call meeting with Christine Emminger. She's the administrator for the Grants Management Office, and it was concerning our infrastructure projects. And after talking to her, I received a call from Tim Eisenhower, who is with the department for the DEQ. And after talking to him, what we need to do, and we need to get on the, what's the word? It's an IUP, infrastructure, what's that?
Intended use plan.
Intended use plan. And we will get a needs survey for that about middle of December, and that will put us on, on the record for fiscal year 2028. So I talked to him about that, talking about our sewer project, the maintenance building, talked to him about the pool, and possibly redoing the town office. So the pool is kind of a stretch, and so is the town office, but the other two, they sounded like that might be a good fit for that. So as soon as the needs survey comes out, we'll send it over, we'll be on that list to receive that, and we'll get that filled out. Just so that you know, the office will be closed July 30th for Goshen County Fair Day. That's all I have.
Just to let everybody know, yesterday was Mr. Rich Reyes and his wife Becky, 42nd anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions?
I do. Speaking of grants, the program I went to really wasn't what we wanted or needed, so I'm glad to hear that. Do you ever receive emails or publications for potential grants and stuff?
Receive what now?
Do you ever receive emails or publications or anything for grants?
Most of anything I get anymore comes from WHAM. They've been doing quite a job of researching a lot of that. So. But
you don't get anything from other organizations or the state or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Do you know when you go to WHAM, some of these meetings and stuff, do the others have, so that, like with networking and stuff, that maybe you could get on some of those lists?
I have talked to them, and basically, it's just a matter of basically getting online and just researching some of those and finding them there. Some of those sources that I've talked to, like Lynette in Torrington, I've never heard of them and how they find them. She said it's just by chance that they happen to find some of those funds.
Okay, so there's not an organization or anything that clerks belong to that kind of help with some of that?
Well, the only other thing that we used to belong to is the National League of Cities.
Yeah.
And they used to send out, notices for grant funds and grant and loans. But a lot of those we never qualified for.
Okay.
They weren't for the state of Wyoming, or they weren't for municipalities, or
of our size.
Sometimes, we just didn't qualify for some of those.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think now, I don't know if they still do that, but WANCAP, they used to do that group send out, if you had a question. Do they still do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Well, there's something we might want to do. Hey, shoot out, where to get grants, What are you guys looking at?
Okay, yes, I can do that.
Okay. Any other questions?
It's just really daunting to try and find grants, and so unless you have a resource of some sort, it's almost impossible to find. So if you could just find out where some of these people are, what search device are they using? Like, there's a government one, but that is so vast. But, are there some others out there that we don't know about?
When we had the assessment of the swimming pool, those people said they were going to help us with, trying to find funding. And I tried to contact them 2 or 3 times about if they found any or where we could begin to look for those, and I could never get an answer from them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were pulling our leg that they were going to help us, that there were funds, but
It's a good way to get business.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions?
Good, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
All right, no unfinished ordinances, really? Okay, come for the fun and stuff. We'll start with fireworks.
I hate them.
I hate them.
I don't know, but it's been a problem, but it's been really bad the last 2 or 3 years, is the church parking lot. We have people coming from Torrington to blow off their fireworks in our parking lot. And then that's bad enough that I have to hide in the basement because my windows are literally, rattling and my dogs are going nuts. But besides all that, the next morning, the trash And the amount that's on my yard, on my car, everywhere it's ridiculous. And so I don't know if maybe the church, I don't know what their feelings are on it or what, because I haven't talked to them, but I can't imagine that they want to pick up all that crap, as well in their parking lot. But I would hope that maybe the church would say, no fireworks in our parking lot. However, on the other side, you've got people, in dry yards and stuff, and it's a safer place, but it's really a mess. And it's just gotten worse and worse. And I think this year it was really bad because there was no fireworks allowed throughout the county. So I also have a former fire chief and a federal and state firefighter in my household, and he was livid that we had fireworks when the county said no. And considering how many fires were going on around all of us, it was very irresponsible. So, said my piece.
Well, she was talking about the trash in the church parking lot. This was picked up by the Jeromes. So they went by the next day and picked all this stuff up and took pictures, which they shouldn't have to do. If you're willing to come to town and shoot off fireworks, you should be willing to pick up after yourself, at least be a decent neighbor. Hours and days, do we need 3 days worth of 12 hours of fireworks? I just don't know that we need that much fireworks. And I understand doing them, and that's fine and dandy, but 12 to 12, can we do 6 to 12, or not on the 5th or something? There's got to be something, because I know dogs are afraid of them. Obviously, people are afraid of them. The trash implications. People coming to town to shoot them off. The maintenance load of having to clean up. You guys drove around the street sweeper. I don't know if you changed your hours to do that, but you guys were running around cleaning up after everybody who wasn't willing to pick up after themselves. So I think that sucks as a community, as neighbors. So anyway, that's my piece. That's what I was thinking.
Dell.
No comments.
Kathy.
So, I did talk to the church prior to, and was to be brought up in the meeting that they have on Tuesdays. I don't know the outcome. No one came to me and told me what the outcome of the conversation, if it actually took place. I don't know. I do know that the pastor on Sunday morning said he now remembers why he goes camping over the 4th of July and gets out of town. So I will bring it back up to the powers that be. What would happen to our insurance if something was to happen at the church? Liability alone in the parking lot. I kind of agree with Brian. I'm not against fireworks by no means. I think 3 days is a little overkill, which I have to say, in my neighborhood this year, the 4th was the big day. Where in years past, it would start on the 3rd and go through the 5th. But this year, it was mainly the 4th. But I do have to send out accolades to LaGrange and Fort Laramie for 2 amazing events that they put together. And I know they're not easy to put together.
And expensive.
And I don't know what it costs to have an ice cream social. I don't know what it costs to have a hamburger feed, but they both rocked it. The shows were professionally done. It was wonderful. Thank you to them for being willing to be on hand for a great show in our community.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I'm not totally against it, but I think there is room to get rid of the 5th. And I see no reason why we should be shooting the day after. Hang on a second. As far as the trash goes, I don't know what we do about the trash. I mean, people don't have enough common sense to go pick it up. That's just rude. That's just being rude to your neighbors. Now, whether or not an individual could call in, let's say call it to a police officer, hey, I got someone littering. But I think it'd be hard to prove. because you'd have to actually watch them sit there, shoot it off, see that spent cartridge, or whatever you're gonna call it, fireworks landed in the yard. Say, yep, I saw that. So I don't know, but I think we could really consider changing the ordinance and drop the 5th. As far as the hours go, right now it's 12 to 12. I don't know if you want to shorten that up or not. I'm pretty comfortable with 12 to 12. But if you want to change it, that'd be up to you guys. And we just had our 4th, so we got a lot of time to think about it and put it out there. So, but anyway.
I don't have a problem, well, I was just gonna say, I don't have a problem telling people in the church, hey, go home. But if it's legal, I can't very well tell them to go home.
So, most people are done, including this year and in past years, by about 10 o'clock with their fireworks. A few pop off after that, but most people are done by 10. And have their stuff packed up. Most people are picking up the stuff that they explode in their front yards. And I know this because I can't drive down the streets because people are in the middle of the streets blowing stuff off. So then I notice when I go to work the following day, I can move down the streets. So it's not like everybody is just leaving trash all over the place. Do some people leave trash? I am sure there are some people that leave their stuff. It's not like everybody is just exploding everything in town and leaving it there. The 5th, I think the reason the 5th was added to that was because sometimes the 4th of July is not on a weekend, and they added the 5th so people could do their fireworks on the 5th. I think that's how that came about. And that's also why the 3rd came about, just depending on where the 4th falls. So, just a little history on that.
I think we also added the 5th in for weather.
And say about the weather.
If you're rained out on the 4th, you can do it the 5th. But the 3rd, a lot of people do shoot off in the evening of the 3rd.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot.
And again, most of those people were done, because the ordinance used to be 10 o'clock, that you could shoot them off until 10 o'clock, but when it's not getting dark until almost 9 o'clock, that's some people time. And what the church parking lot allows is up to the church. It's not up to the town to decide what the church parking lot does. I cannot enforce people blowing things up in the church parking lot. So, I think that's all I have to say. Did you have something?
Yeah. So, a couple things. With regard to the county fire ban, I had called Tom Bozeman, who's our emergency manager, and asked him, are the towns subject to this for the 4th of July? He said, no, that is up to the towns whether or not they want to permit fireworks. So, that then became the decision of the town whether or not to allow fireworks. Correct, yep. And then the other part of that, prior to any of this, I spoke with Pastor Dave up at the church and asked him, I said, hey, we're discussing what we want to do about fireworks. We want to know if there's a safe option, if there's something. We discussed your parking lot. Is that something you would be willing to allow us to do? He said, yes, absolutely. And so Pastor Anderson said if people want to come in and use the church parking lot to shoot off fireworks, they're more than welcome to. Obviously, he asked that they clean up their mess, which, from what I'm hearing, they did not. But we did have that conversation because that's a good isolated area, and surrounding that is irrigated fields. So I just wanted to make sure that that was all understood. We did go and have those conversations prior to any decision ever being made. So, thank you.
Thank you. So, enlighten me, Andrew. I think we don't, or do we allow somebody to go like into our park and shoot them off in the park?
No,
No. Okay. I just want to make sure about that.
not on public, not on town
Property.
property.
That's what I thought.
Because we made that ordinance because we had somebody setting them off at the cemetery. one year, and we were afraid they were going to catch the trees on fire. So, no, not on town property. But technically, streets are town,
Right.
Technically, yeah.
technically, streets are town property.
I had a question about, so we're not worried about we're not worried about the town trees getting caught on fire, but we are worried about the cemetery trees getting caught on fire. I'm just saying out loud here.
I think there was a lot of things going on. It was a very, 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 very dry year when that happened. It was, I think maybe my first year, well, it was my first year here. I have no idea the history behind that.
You know, another thing we had with this year, which we just saw at the beginning of the meeting, was the 250. So, when's the next big one? 50 years down the road.
I felt that this year went very well, actually. We didn't have any incidents. People shut down right away. Nothing caught on fire. We didn't have any ambulance calls. I thought this year went
Between AJ
very well.
Church.
So, all right, well, we got food for thought. Everybody think about it. Like I said, I'm not against getting rid of the 5th if we think we should do that. You know, regardless of where the holiday falls, we still can shoot them off the 3rd and 4th. So. Okay. The Town of Lingle, Goshen County Community Booth for the fair. Rich, would you enlighten everybody on this?
Yes, if you go to the fair in the Ag Building, you know, the communities have displays for their towns. And basically, it's Marlis Hall has, you know, she sent it out to all the municipalities. We received the letter, you know, asking if we would like to participate. And that's what it is.
We tabled it last year, didn't we? Because we didn't have anyone available to do it.
So basically, we build a booth out there.
Yeah, just build a booth, doesn't have to be manned, you know, none of them are manned. Just build a booth, build a display, and it's there for the length of the fair.
Just trying to wrap my head around what can we put in it.
When does it need to be set up?
I don't know. So entries are due by July 17th, so if you want to get into it,
Good week.
so the booths can be set up on the 25th and the 26th from 1 to 5. The tear down is August 2nd from 9 to noon.
Have we ever done it in the past, ever?
Not since
No.
I've been here.
I'm not interested.
Can I ask if anybody here even cares about us doing this? No? Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. That's what I said.
No, you said that.
Yeah, oh well.
So,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
okay. Thank you for that. Okay. The abatement. Everybody saw that? We got that in an email. I've asked Miss Albert to come here and withdraw her abatement, so would you please do that? Yep, just stand up saying withdraw.
I withdraw the abatement.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'm going to refer the easement to Ms. Barnes, Anna, and walk us through it, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I've worked extensively on this. I've spoken with the mayor and with Logan in regards to this. I've also spoken with the county assessor's office, with legal counsel from other communities, and there are certain areas in Lingle where the town of Lingle owns lots next to property owners. The property owners maintain those lots, but that's not this situation. The situation that we have here is at the corner of Main Street and 3rd Street. And 3rd Street on the plat map includes the street as we know it, but then also the right-of-way on either side of it, and that's all for street access. And so we can't take a piece of it and sell it to the property owners for them to be responsible for it, because we don't have a separate lot there to sell. We also cannot do a variance because it's not on the property owner's property. They had a survey done, their property line is the wall of the building. So the next best option for the health and safety of the residents in our community to allow them this fire escape, fire egress window that they need to have is to do an easement. An easement allows the town to continue to own the land, but we're granting them access for a specific purpose, for ingress and egress, for an egress window. And we have, if the window is removed, then the easement goes away. If the window stays there and the property is sold, the easement transfers to future property owners. It runs with the land. Easements don't have to run with the land, they can be personal to an individual, but in this particular situation, it would run with the land, so that if and when it was sold to a new property owner, they would also have that right to have that egress window. The easement allows for the town to capture it back if it's abandoned, but it allows the property owners to fix several issues. One, fire safety, ingress and egress. 2, vehicles parking right up next to the building, which was an issue for their home insurance. Their home insurance policies were, quotes they received were quite high because vehicles could run right into their house. And so this creates a buffer zone so vehicles can't park right next to the house. Their property extends beyond their house to their carports, then to the little blue shed beyond it. They're not asking for an easement for the carport area or for the little blue shed, only for right next to the house, so that there's no vehicles pulling up right next to the house that could run into it, and then also to allow for the egress window. I think this is a great solution. I've provided easement language that shows the burdened property. The one that's carrying the weight of this easement is the town property. The benefiting property is the property owned by the Alberts. They get the benefit of having this access for their egress window and to protect their property for insurance purposes from vehicles running into it. They have the responsibility of removing the sidewalk that runs right alongside the building, putting in the egress window, putting in new sidewalk along the street edge, putting in the new curb along the street edge between Main Street and for 64 feet, which is the length of their home. And then the town will have the responsibility of painting the parking lines on the street. We've calculated there will be a setback from the highway and then potentially 1 to 2 parallel parking spaces. Then there will be the space for their carports. Then there will still be the traditional gravel area in front of the little blue shed. And there are 3 to 4, maybe even 5 parking spaces, depending on how people park, before the alleyway. I think this is a good combination. It preserves parking that the bank was concerned for customers and for workers, but it also protects the Alberts' home and allows them to have the fire escape that they need to have.
Okay,
Does
council,
this-
any
Does
questions?
this solution, does the insurance, are they okay with this solution?
I'll let Ms. Alberts address that.
Okay.
As long as, so it's like any other home, there's that buffer. Anybody can, I mean, you can jump the curb and run into it, but the reality is the chances of somebody putting it in reverse instead of drive, or drive
Right.
instead of reverse, and going into the house, increase multitudes when a vehicle is going up against your home. So the insurance said if there is, like, the sidewalk is moved and there's a curb, my insurance goes down dramatically.
So it'd be just like any other,
Like any
front of
other-
any other home, okay?
Would be parallel parking.
Yeah.
too. Okay. Brian?
What happens when we as a town change our mind and want that space back? Are they out that money? Because this reads like, it's left up to interpretation. Who defines what the purpose of that space is? And then when the next council or whoever changes their mind and they no longer have their egress and ingress window, are they just out that money? Or is,
If they would remove the egress window, that would be their choice, and then the easement would go away. That's the way that the easement would disappear. The town can't go and revoke the easement.
And it's recorded, and this would be recorded at the courthouse, just like any other easement.
right, but I'm reading this and it says if it's used for any other purposes. So if that, who
So
says?
if I fill in the hole for the egress window and say it's now a flower pot, I lose my easement.
Okay, and that makes sense. But like, are you the one who determines what that purpose is, or will I determine what that purpose is, or what? That's what I'm saying. This is for their protection, because if they spend, $30,000, $40,000 doing this, and then the next council, next mayor, next, 20 years from now, whoever's living in that house thinks they have this easement, and then they
So
say
this
no
is
longer.
like a contract, right? An easement is a contract between two parties, saying this is what we're going to abide by.
Right.
So just like if you have a contract for the purchase of a house, and they all of a sudden change material fact of that contract, and they break that contract, you can sue for breach of contract. So for example, if the town wanted to all of a sudden revoke this easement and say, no, we're gonna widen our street, we're gonna pave it all the way up to the house, the property owner at that time would go to court and say, no, I have a recorded easement, they can't do that. Now, does that mean someone in the town would try to do that? No, we can't predict that. But there is a legal recourse where they could sue the town potentially to say, we have a recorded contract, this easement has been recorded, you can't go pave and make 3rd Street twice as big.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. What about the ADA compliance curbs that the city was, or not the city, the state was coming through and doing, the highway department? Weren't they marking all that stuff out? Does that affect what is going to be put in right now, 10 years down the road when they do that, or whatever?
No, when they go to do that, their sidewalk will just continue from that.
Okay.
Because the state's just gonna be expanding around the corners, and I've already talked to them about what has been proposed here so that they understand, and they've said that it won't impact anything. Because if you go out there now, you'll see that sidewalk actually goes all the way and then just stops.
Right. Yeah, I walked out there before.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
look at it, so.
But no, it won't impact anything with that.
It's just,
Good. Tell me, good. Kathy?
So, clarification,
yes, ma'am.
we're not running the sidewalk to the alley. We're running it 64 feet.
Right, so the driveways for the carports, and then we'll have the driveways for the carports like they have been, and then the sidewalk along the blue shed will stay where it has been,
So
right alongside.
it's,
the
so
blue
it's
shed.
back up against the,
Correct.
so, everybody that I have listened to, and I have tried to listen to many people over this, the biggest thing that I heard was that is parking for the community center. And I'm not talking, I didn't talk to a bank employee, I'm talking to community. And I am sitting right here knowing that there's several people parked right there. And I'm looking out this back window right next to the door. And there's not a car.
And there's a parking lot back here.
And
that's
there is a
available
parking
for
lot.
the community center.
And it goes with the community center.
Yes.
Does that cover what is technically being lost? No, but it is part of our limited resources in this town that no town has enough parking. No town does.
Right, but the nice thing is, we have the highway here, and you have parking on both sides of the highway.
Correct.
That is very large and available for everyone. I know some people will say, well, I'm not comfortable crossing the highway. That's fine, there's parking behind the community building. And there will still be part of the parking along 3rd Street that has been traditionally there. I think you could argue of the 64 feet, there were potentially 4 parking spots. There will still be 2, so there's a loss of 2 spaces, but you still have plenty of other available parking. It's a compromise, right? Like, we as a community are here for the health and safety of our residents first and foremost. And so for the health and safety of our residents, they need an egress window for fire safety, and they need protection for their homes so people don't drive into their home. And so for setting that property, moving the sidewalk alongside the street as required by town ordinance, allowing them that space to put in their egress window, we're protecting their home, we're protecting their fire safety, and we're making sure that the entire family is safe. We still have other parking available for the community members.
Thank you.
More? I think it's a good compromise too. Like I said, it's been worked on a lot, so appreciate that. Okay. Does anybody want to jump up and talk about this? Now's your chance. No? Joel, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I know a lot of work went into this, and I guess I just say this, just preface it that you might not know, but I was on that town council for 3 terms. I know you guys run because you want to help people. You get put in situations where, the town's going to come down on different, 2 different sides the town has to make a decision on. But just a little background to remind everybody of is that this property in question has been assessed as commercial. That's what the assessor says it is. It has been public parking in front of this for as long as anybody can remember. Additionally, it's been said that in the state of Wyoming you have to have egress if you have living space in the basement. Well, that is correct. But there's been a change in use of the property. When the property was listed for sale, it was never listed as any living quarters in the bottom of it. It was marketed as one living space above grade. So the property's been purchased knowing how it was going to be, and now has changed the purpose to it. I know that puts you guys in a tough spot. I know you guys want to help the homeowner, but this is in fact has been a commercial space. The other thing I guess I would mention is I do appreciate it is different than what I thought it was last council. I thought it was all been taken out. But Councilor Barnes had said that it runs the 64 feet, runs the length of the property. And I don't know if that was a misstatement.
Of the house, not the entire property.
The house, I believe, is 36 feet.
That includes their backyard, because that's the distance from there to the driveway of the carports.
And so my question if that would be, if it's for the egress window, which would be on that 36 feet, then we've lost more additional space that could still be parking. If it's just strictly to protect the house from being ran into and from the house and the egress window. I'm not an insurance expert, but another issue with this property, why it's more expensive to insure, is because in fact it is assessed as a commercial property. So that's what some of the uphill battle is for somebody buying it and moving into it. I understand that. With that said, if it would be helpful in a way, I would really like to be able to be able to use some of that more spaces parking. I think the community would like to, from what I've heard as well. I believe we should look into anyway, if you guys were to grant the easement for the length of the home, maybe the bank would be willing to look at, if we could put in nice diagonal parking I don't know what that cost would be, but it's certainly something we consider looking at doing, because obviously we care about the bank's customers and the bank staff, but I do personally, I work there every day and I see that fill out. When there's community events, I don't know how many parking spots are back there. I saw two obvious ones. There's also some handicap ADA parking, but you can't stack them in there. And so on community events, it does get packed. Yes, there is parking out on the street. It is more dangerous for senior citizens and for kids. If they can get out of their vehicle on 3rd Street, it is safer for everybody. Anyway, regardless of what you decide, I do sincerely want you to know, I really appreciate the work you do. I know how hard it is. I know you're here for everybody's best, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
I have a question.
Questions?
Yes. Yeah, a question for you. What's your solution? For them, because they need an egress window. So what is your solution?
So, again, this is not anyway trying to pick a fight either way. But the property was not purchased.
No.
Yeah.
The property was not advertised as commercial because I listed it and I sold it. The other
I never
thing.
said it was commercial.
Yes, you did.
I never said it was.
Yes, you did.
Listed.
That's why I'm
And you said on
upset.
the assessor's page, it's commercial, and it's listed as office/apartment. It's not listed as commercial.
Yes, and most of the properties up and down Torrington, Lingle right now, are mixed use right now. And so they all have residential versus commercial in them right now, because otherwise Lingle wouldn't have the capability to pay the utilities, a lot of these people. So that's why they are residential. So my question again is, it's not a matter of an issue of whether it's commercial or not commercial, because it wasn't sold as commercial. It's mixed use. So what is your solution?
Yeah, so to respond to that, for the record, what I believe I exactly said, and this is the 2026 Notice of Assessment, it says right on here, commercial improvements, commercial land. This is the property that we were talking about. So, just for the record, I wasn't spinning tail, that is what it says. When I said how it was marketed, it was not marketed, at least what I meant to say, is it was not marketed with a living residence in the basement. It was listed as 1 bedroom above grade. So that's what my point is. So
in order to say that there was a bedroom downstairs, let me just give you a little clarification, because I am a realtor. You have to have a window and a closet. There is a bedroom down there when I sold it, but there was no window, so we couldn't classify it as a bedroom.
That's exactly my point.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Joe?
Thank you very much.
I guess one other question I have is, would you guys, what, do you want to pay for parking? Because that would pay to offset the difference in their insurance.
So, as I had mentioned, even if the easement was approved for the 36 feet of property where the egress window would go, what I had said was, past that part, if we were to keep the parking, and if the town thought it would be safer to put in diagonal parking, I don't know what that dollar amount would cost, so I cannot commit to something exactly right now. But we'd be glad to certainly take a look at helping the town out with that.
So, Mr. Tremaine,
Yes.
the difference you're talking about here is potentially 30 feet or 28 feet.
Yes, exactly.
So if you do angle parking, how many angle parking spots can you fit in a 28-foot slot?
Well, now I would say this. If you do the math on it,
And considering we live in Wyoming and the average citizen drives a truck or an SUV.
And you have to open the door to get out.
So, would anybody be able to tell me what the measurement is? It's a 140-foot lot, and where it right now is just going past the carport. So anybody able to give me that measurement to that point? So we know it's 64 before the carports are there.
Right, and you've said 36 for the distance of the house, so 64 minus 36 gives you a 28.
Well, I was working backwards and saying 64 feet to the carports, and so then there's additional, how much space would that be there?
Well, you can't park in front of their carports.
I know, but I'm just trying to figure out my space is.
You still have space beyond the carports to the alley where you can park.
And so I'm just guessing that's probably I had to guess, just say it takes it to 90 feet, who's guessing?
But you can't use that space,
Yeah.
carports are there.
Right, but my point being is you said 4 to 5 vehicles are in that last there, so I just trying to make the comparison of the 28 feet, we would use that for parking. So I'm just looking at solutions, I'm just trying to be helpful, because I understand the direction you guys are leaning, but if that would be helpful, we would, we would be glad to look at, helping put in some diagonal. I only mentioned diagonal because I thought maybe you guys would prefer that more. I think most people park there just prefer to keep parking perpendicular.
But then they hang off of the street.
Right.
Yes. Or
But
they
if
park
it's
over.
18 feet. most
And during
people should
banking
be-
hours, why can't your employees park here when nothing's going on? I don't understand the problem.
One of the deals, when I talked to Joe about this, was, he said it might ease some of the, and this is your words, it might ease some of the heartburn. The employees can still park where they are, which is in front of the shed. We're not changing that. This
Yeah.
town is not going to do anything with that property, and we're not giving the Alberts any of this, so they can still park.
Right.
So that's not a problem. What he's trying to do is get additional spots over here where the actual building is, and then you have the backyard as the property he's talking about. So he said, well, we'll cut it off and put the egress here, and then put parking where the fence is for their backyard. You would probably only get maybe 2 in there, because you'd probably have maybe at least 8 foot wide. And then if you get 4 feet on that side, that for your doors, you're pretty well, so, but anyway, once we get it measured out, and I'm not sure what Logan's measurements were, but I know we're gonna get at least 1 parallel parking, which is the same on the south side as your bank, spot for 1, and maybe 2 on this, which would be 1 more than what you have over there. And that's, and I get about the whole parking thing, and everybody says, well, it's when we have big events here. Well, let's run down. When's the last time we had a big event here?
Lingle, jingle, jingle.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And
Every year,
Every year.
once a year.
20,
Weddings, funerals.
When was the last funeral? See, that's what I'm getting at. They're not everyday events, they're not every week events, they're not even every month events.
Right.
They really aren't. And so when you have parking, and you have a lot of people, in the past, they always found a place to park. And losing this stuff over here is not going to affect that one way or the other.
George, can I?
So hang on a minute. It just won't change it, because we
Can I
don't
say
have, hang on a minute. We just don't have those many events. Like I said, you got to, how many times you had it? Yes, there's Miss Smith. The Lingle Jingle, it's a big one. It's for 2 days and they're done. We don't do funerals every month. We don't do weddings every month. We just don't.
Sure.
The parking's not an issue. Whether we have the extra 4 spaces over there where it is now, 4 to 5, or it's narrowed down to 2, it's still not an issue. Just isn't. So I don't see where we have this, everybody's concerned about what happens when we have an event here. It just doesn't apply. One more, please.
I would like to respond to Shelley's comment. Sure. So in talking to residents of the town about this situation, I did get some very good feedback. And one of them was over some of our older residents not being comfortable parking on the highway in front of your bank. I respect that. They're not as fast getting in and out. I respect that. They were the ones that stated that they were more comfortable walking across 3rd Street than getting out of their vehicles on the highway. And in asking them, I said, so if we could move you to a parallel parking, and some of them cringed at that, but most of them said if there is an opportunity to still park along there, they would be okay. They would not be ecstatic or happy, but they would be okay. I don't know if that answers Shelley's question or what, but I did talk to people, and Some of them, it was more tender than others. It was. So it's got to be a compromise.
Shannon?
I just want to let you know that just yesterday, we had a gal with her 3 children, parked on Main Street, get out of her car, almost get hit by cars, flying down the highway, and she was scared crapless. She said that was awful, trying to get her children back in that car and get them out of the car when she was trying to come into the bank. So, there's that.
It's always an issue when you park on any street and get out of your car.
Yeah.
It's always an issue, whether it be this highway or over here. It's an
You
issue.
don't have them going 30, 40 miles an hour down this street. Not like on here, on the main street.
Well, the speed limit on Main Street's supposed to be 30, so if people did what they're supposed to, and there you go, throw the onus on the driver. Law enforcement can only do so much if he's in one place so much time, so,
Exactly.
okay.
I have, was she trying to load her kids in the car on the highway side or the sidewalk side?
she got
I
out
mean,
on the highway
you'd think
side.
it would be safe enough, that'd be my way on the sidewalk, like, you know,
You
Shannon,
know
I
the
just
kids
don't know
run out
what.
when the parents are
I
trying
know.
to get them out of the car? Just saying.
Well, if you're on the sidewalk, you have a safer chance in taking them out on the street side, you know, but, I mean, there's so much to argue about here on stuff.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Can I make just one last comment here?
One last comment, make it short, please.
Will be. If the town decides to approve the easement, my request would be that it would be for the length of the building, which would be 36 feet, and we give more space for parking.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Ms. Albert, would you like to add anything?
I would. So the place in front of my house too, but then that is still living space in my backyard. My kid is out there playing in that yard. It still causes a problem if somebody decides to drive through my wood fence into my backyard. That is still living space. Even if it is just a backyard and it's not the house, it is still considered part of the living space, which does affect the insurance and everything else.
Okay, thank you. Anybody got any questions for Ms. Albert? None?
Could have a solution to
Listen.
that. We could purchase curb finders with blocks, so we can go jump the curb to protect that space. We pay for it.
Okay. So, we're down to the question of to make a motion to grant the easement as it is presented, which would be for the full easement.
I move that we grant the easement for the full dimensions as presented by town council.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second to approve the easement?
I make a second to,
Well, you can't do anything, it's just up for discussion after.
yeah, right.
No. You made the motion to approve the easement.
Right,
Now we need a second.
right, and she just said a second, but,
I said, I was going to say, I make a second for the
Easement.
easement, sorry.
So now we have a motion and a second to approve the easement that was presented for the Albert property. Is there any discussion?
I would like to entertain Joel's proposal at looking at a better parking area beyond the 64. What it would take to make it safer for vehicles to be all the way off of the street, whether it's diagonal or,
So in the legal world, it's just not, I think we have found the greatest solution for their living space to make it as usable for them as possible for their safety, and to still provide parking between the carports to the alleyway for the community. To shorten that easement would only grant you one, maybe 1.5 extra parking spaces, and then you lose the parallel parking.
Correct.
Then you can't have either of the parallel parking
Thank
spaces.
you.
And so either you get 2 parallel parking spaces, or you get one diagonal space.
I'm sorry, diagonal. I apologize. You said diagonal.
Or perpendicular.
Or perpendicular. But I would, to improve it to where vehicles could get off the street better, beyond the 64.
Right, so what I'm saying is if you shorten it from 64 to 36, you lose the 2 parallel parking spaces that we were providing. And so then you would only get 1 diagonal, maybe a second diagonal. That's the same as having 2 parallel parking spaces. It doesn't protect their living space fully and completely. Someone could still drive through and hit the corner of the house or hit the fence. We, for their insurance purposes, need to help protect their property. We need to help provide that fire egress window, and this is the best solution for everyone and still provides the perpendicular parking down by the blue shed.
That was the parking I was discussing.
That's not touched.
That's not touched.
That's not touched.
Okay.
That's not touched.
Okay.
And as far as
I thought it made that perfectly clear that the town, when you own that property, we don't have any plans to do that.
Okay.
Nothing with that.
That was my
Yeah,
confusion.
the only part that is being addressed
Is the
is
64.
right there
64
from the curb of the house, the edge of the house, 64 feet back.
Okay.
And it includes their fence. But the other thing is that for resale purposes, we have to have something that makes sense. And this 2 parallel parking spaces makes sense. Just think about in front of your house.
Right, right. I'm good.
Any more discussion about this? No. Any more? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of granting the easements to the Alberts, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. None being heard. The easement's granted. And on behalf of this subject, on behalf of everybody involved, I thank you all for your comments. Sometimes change isn't easy, and it's been that way, as has been said for years and years and years. And so it's a change, but we'll adapt. We always seem to. Okay, down to council items. Dell.
I don't have anything at this moment, George.
Kathy.
I would like to thank everyone for the 2 events in the park and all the work that went into them. They were both amazing performance. Rich did a great job. The band was amazing. Both bands were amazing. The people that put their time and effort into it, it was very well received, and I just want to say thank you.
Brian.
No.
Thank you. Shelley?
I have a list, but I'll shorten it. First question is, there's still an appetite for us to do the mural?
Are you asking each one of us?
Just throwing it out there.
Me?
I know you didn't want it from the beginning, so.
Correct.
What is your thoughts on still having the school involved?
Oh, absolutely. And the 250th year goes all the way through till December 31st.
I would still be for it.
Because we now have it in our budget, the current budget, and so I would need to order it, and it takes 4 to 6 weeks. So that's just something that we need to throw out there. We don't have to make a decision tonight, but
I think involving your youth of today for something big like 250 is, they may not realize the significance of it until the next one, whatever it is that, hey, I had a hand in doing that.
okay. The other part could be done with this next item. We need to set a date for a strategic plan so that we can get things put together and decide where we're going forward and like our project, like if we get a needs plan for 2028, then that needs to be on our plan, for our sewer project. And, during the budget meetings, we had things like we wanted to do some community, like a community committee or do some items and different things. So we need to just have a date that we can get together and put our plan forward. So I'd like Mr. Mayor to think about potential dates. We don't have to ask anyone in. I can facilitate us if we need to. It's pretty simple. A quick question about our website, a bunch of questions, but I'll ask offline to Logan and stuff. And that has to do more with the capability of putting things more on the front page, user access, easier to find things instead of having to dig in deep, and our Facebook page link and some different things like that. So I can talk to you guys about that. And then the last thing, can we post things inside the post office? They said Mr. Mayor would have to come talk to the postmaster.
Yeah.
Can we post things inside ties, so in an area, so that people who keep coming up to me and saying, well, I don't do Facebook, and I don't do this, I don't do that. The two areas that they can...
And the post office. And town hall.
Yeah, so if we can make sure those things are happening. And then our newsletter, do we have anyone that wants our newsletter or ever talk about electronically? And
I
about...
put it on Facebook when I do one.
Yeah, I know you do
But
that.
that's as far as electronically that I do.
Okay,
I did put out feelers about doing an email blast,
yeah,
but no one ever.
response.
No, I got nothing,
Okay,
so.
and just how much do you think off the top of your head our newsletters cost?
No, it's minimal.
It's minimal? Okay. And how long does it take you to do it? It seems like it would be a lot to fold it, put it...
It's about a day between printing and folding and stuffing, because I include it with the bills when I do it, so.
So you hand do all that?
Yeah. I usually only do semi-annually,
Okay, so you
but I
only do it twice a year.
haven't done the last couple, so.
Okay.
It's really, I did have a paper folder,
I was gonna say, they
but
have...
the rubber on it, one of the rubber pieces broke off, so they don't go through correctly.
I think we could replace a piece of rubber.
I've looked into getting a new piece and I can't get one.
Okay,
So I'd have to replace the whole machine, and that gets pricey.
yeah, okay,
And I have talked about that to get some prices.
yeah.
So,
Well, and even some of these bigger communities, maybe they have one that they're upgrading or something, we can, that you could reach out and see if anyone has one, a used one that we could purchase.
That'd be good to pay for that webcam blast.
Yeah.
And then, that's it. The rest we can talk outside.
Outside, that don't sound too good.
Okay,
Directly.
well, I'm gonna make mine short because we've been here plenty long already. I agree with everybody here. I think the two bands that we had the last couple of weeks were awesome. Rich is actually the one that found the Army band, got him to come. So thank you,
Invite
Rich.
them back. They were really, really good.
Yeah, the guy who introduced was their front man was really good too. That was Rich himself. So, and for the band Ivory that was here last night, they were really good. We got to thank Go Goshen on that one, which is our economic development. And they kind of put that one together as part of their Summer in the City series. I'm not sure what they call it, but they do like a band a month for
Summer
4 months.
Their summer concert series.
Summer concert series. I think they do 4 of them. So we were lucky that Snippy and Torrington, they came over here. It was a pretty good turnout, Last night I was really surprised, so it was all good. So I really thank them, and of course Kelly Sidner had his hands in it because he's a big supporter of Ivory. I think he calls them their own band. or his own band, but it was really good. So here we are talking about making dates for the strategic plan for the town. Somebody asked earlier what people thought about, where the question was, what would be the interest of the town people showing up for a strategic plan? Maybe if we found the date. Now this, I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot of this one, because, okay, we're looking for a date, and I was just gonna say, ask the council, somehow this is the summer, and I don't know if we got any more pressing business for the rest of the month, if we'd like to skip the 22nd of July meeting.
Okay.
Give us a little break during the summer.
What about, as far as a strategic plan, what about, is September, like mid-late September, is that too congested with school and everything? Because we go back to school in August.
I think people might have more time to attend one once the summer's over.
Yeah.
So,
September is not quite, busy with October, November, all those holidays and stuff.
well, why don't we get together, look some dates, and it'll probably have to be a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Mondays are out, Fridays are out. Nobody does Monday and Fridays. So, but anyway, council, what do you think about the 22nd?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Well, let's,
And statutorily, we only need one meeting a month.
yeah, a lot of times we have a lot of business to carry over, and this is one of them. Well, no, it's the first meeting, so. Well, well, let's make that an motion so there's no doubt about it, that the council will skip or take that 22nd of July off. We have a motion for that? The motion, got a second?
Second.
Second? Okay, is more discussion about it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. If something does come up, we'll put it out there, let you know we'll have a record meeting on the 22nd, if need be. So, as promised, we're at the end.
Oh, I have one more thing to give you real quick. I gave everybody up here a little sheet, and I'll give it to Rich so he has a copy, but last meeting I was very upset. I voted against the COLA for the staff, and I did research and found out we are paid more. Our staff are all paid more than the 5 communities, didn't include Torrington, of the 5 communities. However, upon my research, had I heard this piece, the state mandated an increase in contributions to the retirement. So that immediately takes a percentage off your paycheck of all employees that contribute to state retirement. So I thought we said 3%. Kathy and George said no, but when you do the math, it's about the same. So it ends up being about $6,700 with 3% increase total in the budget. And I just wanted to say kudos to Mr. Mayor. And I'm glad I have the information now. But in the future, I'd like the information before I have to vote. So thank you.
Tasking with that too.
Okay.
So there you go. Okay, as I said before we go goodbye, any questions? No? Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
All opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you once again, everybody.